Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're making a beautiful apple and rhubarb compote with some lovely rhubarb fresh from the garden. Compote is a really great dish to know how to make. It's really easy to prepare, it keeps really well in the fridge, you can freeze it, and you can serve it in lots of different ways. So you can serve it with pancakes like I'm going to be doing today. You'll find the pancake recipe in the other video. And it's also great to serve on top of porridge in the morning. It's a really lovely addition to porridge in winter. You could serve it on top of French toast. You could serve it with scones. It's a really versatile and lovely way to prepare fruit. So we're going to be using Granny Smith apples. We're going to add some orange zest and orange juice for a really beautiful flavour. Vanilla, of course. We are not necessarily going to add maple syrup, but if we decide that the rhubarb has made it too tart, too tangy, then we can add a little bit of maple syrup and possibly some raspberries. So I've got a rhubarb here. Rhubarb really varies in the colour that it comes in. So this one has a pinkish hue to it, but it's not a really deep red. And I love the colour of a really dark rhubarb, so I'm going to actually just add some frozen berries today to bring the colour up as well to a really nice dark colour. So first of all, we're going to zest our orange and juice it and put it straight into the pan. I'm using a microplane, which you may have seen in the other videos. It's a fine hole grater with a really handy little cover that snaps onto the back and catches all our zest. So when we are zesting any kind of citrus, we really want to make sure that we just take the zest. We don't want to go down into the white part beneath, because that has a really bitter flavour. All of the gorgeous flavour that we want is in the coloured part on the top. And this is the same whether it's oranges or lemons or limes that we're zesting. And there's all our lovely zest. That can just go straight into our pot that we're using. And then the juice of the orange. So juicy and delicious. It smells amazing already. And just pour that into your pot. And now we prepare our rhubarb. So we want to discard the leaves. The leaves of rhubarb are actually poisonous, so make sure you put them in the compost. Don't feed them to your chooks, it won't be good for them. So we just need a rough dice. The rhubarb is going to break down as it cooks, so we don't need to be too particular about the size and shape of the pieces. They can go straight into the pot. Now the recipe says 3 to 4 stalks of rhubarb. I'm using 3 because these rhubarb stalks are really pretty big, and that's going to be enough. Rhubarb is a vegetable actually, not a fruit, but it's always prepared usually as a fruit. Now we just need to peel and roughly chop our apples. I'm using Granny Smith apples or green apples because they're going to break down when we cook them down. Other like red apples like Pink Lady, those kinds of apples will hold their shape, and I really want them to break right down so that we have a really nice, smooth, saucy quality to our compote. Just going to peel the apples. find the easiest way to chop them, because we're not worried about the shape it's going to break down, is just to go down on the edge of the core there and then turn it, and again you're coming away with a little square core at the end, which is fine, and then roughly chop. Straight into the pot as well. Okay, into the pan. A teaspoon of vanilla. We're just going to give that a stir. Pop the lid on and let it cook down gently until it's really nice and soft. Just going to have a little check now. It's important to keep the lid on for the whole cooking process, because there's not a lot of liquid in there and we don't want it to dry out. So I don't know if you can see now, the rhubarb's starting to soften, but the apple still has all its shape, so I'm going to give it a little bit longer. Okay, let's have a look now. Ooh, that's bubbling away nicely. Can you see that? It's looking much softer. I'm just going to press some of those apple pieces against the edge of the pan to see how they're cooking. Some are soft and some of the larger ones still need to cook for a bit longer. So we know that we're getting close to the end of the cooking process. So I'm just going to pop the raspberries in now. And stir them through, and this is where we're going to start to get that really gorgeous, vibrant colour. Last few minutes, just really gentle simmering. I'm going to move it to the back hot plate, because that's a little bit lower, goes a little bit lower than the front one, which is large. Give that a couple more minutes and then we'll be ready to serve. Okay, let's see how it's going now. Oh yeah, look at that. Gorgeous. Nice and soft. We've still got a few apple pieces holding their shape a little bit. That's okay, as long as they're nice and soft and give when I do press them with the spoon. Now it's time to taste. So I'm just checking it now for sweetness, and what I'm aiming for is about the sweetness of an apple. So I don't want it to be really sweet, but we don't want it to be too tart or too tangy either. That's really good, but I think it needs just a little touch of maple syrup. Stir that through. Get another spoon. Oh my goodness, that's perfect. Let's serve it up. You can serve this warm or cold, either is fine. But I think today, on top of pancakes, warm would be perfect. And there we have apple and rhubarb compote.